let's say it's a group of 12 guys and they give them their assignment. They drop in South Africa in different days. They've been given a budget of R1 million to bring in this child. You have posted that child by your real name and surname on TikTok. They take the very same real name and surname, they put it on Facebook, where you have checked in with a live location. They already know where you stay. Even if you didn't check in where you stay, I can take a picture and put it in some software that can tell me where the picture was taken and when.
These are people with experience human trafficking.
Yeah. Not really human trafficking. These are the people that their country entrusts them to say, so and so, we are entrusting you with pulling off this mission for this country here. And they could go and do it.
By the way, sorry, before you answer, I'm sure people wouldn't understand why you're saying I would want to have you killed. Just to understand, for the context of this interview, who are you and what do you do actually? Because you seem like you know so much, man.
It's fine.
Yeah.
My name is Mondli Soko, a former investigative journalist, but I'm now a civilian and a very good business coach.
yeah, nice.
I'm just a business coach. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there. I specialize with marketing, branding. That's basically what my company, the Chinyal, does. And I would leave it there. I wouldn't want to
go a little bit further.
To think much about what I used to do. But I used to be an investigative journalist, and I used to really, really, really go very deep in uncovering certain things. And I'm a grandson of a cop. He served the country. He did his best. They even named a street after him. He worked very well. And every time I'm in Soshanguve and I'm passing the street that was named after my grandfather, it just always reminds me to say, I have to have integrity that can't be bought by money. Hence, I struggled in the mainstream media.
Wow.
Also, in terms of how they hire people.
Yeah.
Whom do they hire? And once you are hired, whom do you report to? And how do they condition your mind to be comfortable about certain things? It comes back to you. We were all around when Sowetan was destroying Zola 7's career. And for a journalist like me, when you read what was written about him, I could tell it's personal. It had nothing to do with work. So...
Does it get that personal, though?
It does. It does. If I can call a journalist and give a journalist that earns 7,500 and give him 250,000 and say, I want you to dig everything there is about Zola 7 and I want you to destroy him. If I can hack your phone now and go to your Google search history and recover messages that you have spoken to any girl in the past, that you have deleted in the past, how many ex-girlfriends would have nice things to say about you? How many schoolmates would have something nice to say about you? How many people have taken advantage of you in the past and ditched you would have nice things to say about you? So literally meaning a media story, if it has to be created about anyone, it can be created. Especially if the means and the avenues for you to answer for yourself are not there. So these are some of the questions that people are supposed to be asking. I think it's the Citizen, if I'm not mistaken, that released a story that said, we are sorry, Mr. Zuma. I think during the time when people were looting, to say, actually, Mr. Jacob Zuma has so much support of his people and all that. And that's the time they came back and say, we are sorry, Mr. Zuma, after destroying his character. When the media was printing all those stories, who held them accountable? Can that one article undo what has been done in the past?
No way. No way.
I will ask you another question. How many journalists have you heard of who have become politicians for certain political parties? And when they do so, does it discount the 10 years of their journalism of service? And when they were doing their media analysis, were they affected by their political colors? what becomes of their 10 years of work when they become a politician for political party X?
Have you found yourself in a situation whereby someone, I'm not going to talk about your bosses, but somebody is wanting you to push a certain narrative?
Yes.
And they're offering you money?
I was offered money. I have been threatened.
Approximately how much?
There was a time in Soweto I was offered 25K to push a narrative about a certain political party, and I will just leave it there. I don't want to go in details, but I was offered that as a brown envelope, but it wasn't the final offer. They told me that they could still give me some more if that doesn't fit me, but I need to do 1, 2, 3. But if you improvise once, you will improvise again. It also goes back to what kind of a man you are. What do you stand for? To you, what is the most important thing? When I disconnected from media, there were times where I was invited in certain political parties, or maybe others would hire my company to take pictures and the videos, and we could do that. But I'm not there as a journalist. I'm just doing that. But when I am reporting, I am reporting. I don't care who you are. And I will be asking you fair questions. Because we have confused journalism with being rude, interrupting people when they talk, and being annoying to people, and lambasting people. Because now you have a journalist, you could tell this journalist is very, very rude. This journalist is very, very pushy. This journalist is that. You can see that, which in my mind is not right. Just ask the questions politely so. That is your job. Ask the questions, let them answer for themselves. So if I start asking you like I have an agenda, chances are there's already is one. So my job is to ask questions that are of public interest, and let the society decide what they want to believe from the answers that comes from the sources. So it's not my place to decide. It's not my place to analyze. Well, I may analyze data and facts, but I don't have to cut and paste anything. I have to present it to the public as it is, and the public has to decide. So as far as podcasts are concerned, they are a very big threat. Because if I have beaten one of your producers, and your producers open a case for me and I'm labeled as an aggressor, in the media I would never have a day where I explain myself why I did it. But if I go to a podcast, they will give me 2 hours to just find out, to ask me every detail. Do you have a background of aggression? Have you ever done 1, 2, 3? Where does it come from? There is a whole lot to explain, because I am given the time and the platform to explain it for myself, so which is a bit fair. But in the mainstream media, that is not there. So podcasts are here to stay. They are here to stay, and we will support them.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to talk about political parties and politicians. I mean, like, you spoke about you being threatened multiple times. They're like, yo, we're going to take you out. Was it a phone call or maybe an SMS?
The first time, it was a phone call, of which when before they dropped the call, I just said to them, I understand. At least I would know what I'm going out for. But when you do, don't make a mistake and miss. They thought it's a joke. The second time, it was a councillor for political party X who wanted to be physically aggressive, of which I don't know how I look on camera, but I'm not really a small guy.
He's not a small guy. Those who can see you properly.
I'm not really a small guy. And it wasn't easy. But now when people start following you around, when you come out of your house, there's a car parking there. Immediately you come out, it drives off. And the following days, there's always the same two guys in the car. You start worrying. I remember one particular day, it was winter. They slept in the car.
Are you serious?
Like, they slept in the car, and I went and knocked on their windows and offered them coffee. Like, they were just so terrified.
You are on next level. You are on next level.
I just knocked on their glasses and I'm like, gents, I know you're at work. And when I work, I do my work. So I understand you guys are doing your work, but it's cold. Can I bring you coffee? You should have seen the look in their faces.
They couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but yeah, it gets a bit scary if you are not used to it. But I investigated human trafficking in the past, which was a bit more deeper and more scarier. So for me, it was like a local councillor, dude, please.
So you speak about human trafficking. I saw a video of yours on TikTok and I was like, this guy knows so much, right? And when I look at you now, you seem like a nice guy who's into business and all that. But
yeah, I'm a businessman.
Obviously, like you. I don't know if I should say you're a millionaire or not.
Oh no, I'm coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
So the time when you were, investigating human trafficking, what did you find, bruh? Specifically in South Africa.
Can I have a sip for that one? Human trafficking was very scary. It was very scary. When I say it was very scary, I mean, let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
There's Mr. Pedophile somewhere in the United States who has that desire for underage kids. He's a billionaire. Whatever that he wants, he gets. Then, Mr. Pedophile is just scrolling through TikTok because he has all the money. Chances are drugs money, and it's a whole lot of it. He has it in liquid cash, he has it in Bitcoin, he has it in all ways you can think of. So Mr. Pedophile is just scrolling through TikTok. Boom, your 7-year-old daughter is dancing on TikTok. Remember, this is a pedophile. Looks at your daughter and be like, oh, the same way you would look at a woman on Instagram and be like, she's from space. Like, on how beautiful she looks, that's how they look at your child. Like, you know what, I like this kid. He just takes a phone and call and say, can you get me Team so-and-so to go bring me this child? When he takes a call and say, get me so-and-so, his chances are he's calling a group of maybe former US Navy SEALs that were discharged on dishonorable behavior. Maybe in that squad of people he's calling, it's a Navy SEAL, it's a Green Beret, it's probably former Delta Force, it's probably former maybe British intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying those organizations are the ones exactly responsible, but I'm trying to draw the picture of the expertise of this person in terms of assault. And they could get, every country has their own version of this kind
100%,
kind of
CIA
people,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, every country has its own version of that. So it could be someone from any country basically. But I'm just using this specific group because they are the ones that are mostly known worldwide. Let's say it's a group of 12 guys and they give them their assignment. They drop in South Africa in different days, probably using a different passport from wherever. In terms of organizing for visas and all these things, they've been given a budget of R1 million to bring in this child. Excuse me. You have posted that child by your real name and surname on TikTok. They take the very same real name and surname, they put it on Facebook, where you have checked in with a live location. They already know where you stay. Even if you didn't check in where you stay, I can take a picture and put it in some software. It can tell me where the picture was taken and when. So with that kind of information, it has just narrowed their search very, very close by. So they go to Protea Glen Kokasi where you stay, but they are realizing, nah man, we are too white. And the muscles and the tattoos are very scary. So let's get a local who can get us 1, 2, 3. And they just give the local 20,000 rands. Who is unemployed, by the way, with a wife that is hungry at home. And they are given 20,000 rands just to find out where this kid stays. How long would it take you to find a kid in your own hood? It wouldn't take you long.
A couple of hours, I'm sure. I mean, like,
Basically.
I'm paid 20K.
Yes. So they already know where the kid stays. So now the actual commandos will just show up in a car and start surveilling the kid. Remember, there are 12. There's 2 that is going to be stationed at the house to see what time you leave and what time is what, how many people live in the house. There's the 2 that's stationed outside the school to see when the kid arrives and who brings the kids to school. There is the independent car that's going to be following when the one inside the yard leaves and then the other one takes over. They just surveil you for a week.
So already they know where the father works. Already they know where the father works. They know
Yes.
where the mother works. They know what time you guys leave, what time you guys
They've
come back.
surveilled you for a week. They already know. They just have to decide on the day and the minute of the takedown.
Sure, bro, that is so scary.
So one day the kid just goes, hey, I'm the Makulen. Then the kid goes to the tuck shop. They just need to clap that kid once and that kid is going to pass out. Just grab the kid, throw the kid in the car and drive pretty fast. After turning a few blocks, throw the kid in a chopper, the chopper takes off. Just leaving only one guy in the car who is a very good Vin Diesel and who can do the getaway very quickly and real fast. He drives that car to get out of the society. He goes somewhere, he peels off the paint. If the car was blue, then now the car is red. Change the number plates.
Sure.
He drives independently. The kid is on a chopper. Land the chopper somewhere. Now it's a question of getting the kid out of the country. They may take some injection from somewhere in Kruger National Park for the elephants and inject the kid. The kid is gonna pass out. I'm just using the injection as an
example.
As an example. But they can use an actual drug. Remember who these people are and what they have done in the past. These are monsters.
These are people with experience human trafficking.
Not really human trafficking. These are the people that their country entrusts them to say, so and so we are entrusting you with pulling off this mission for this country here. And they could go and do it. They could go and do it without any fear. And they were discharged due to dishonorable behavior, which could be staged. They may be good men of morals. They could be bad people. And they have children at home that are expecting bread. And since daddy has been discharged due to dishonorable behavior, they don't have any food. So daddy must make a plan. And what does daddy know? Violence.
In your findings as a journalist, did you perhaps find out that sometimes these people can work with the police?
They don't need to. They don't need to. These are experienced guys that 5 of them can close the entire police station.
Bruh.
Look, it is one thing to shoot at a target that is there when you're at the shooting range. Pow, 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 pow. It is another to shoot at a moving target. It is another to shoot at a target that is shooting back at you. A totally different story shooting at a target that is in different formations that is closing in on you as well.
It's not like the target is running away.
The target wants you as well.
Wow. Yes.
They want you as well, and they are using the correct rifles for it, and there is nothing you can do about it. Imagine a group of 10 John Wicks looking for you. John Wick is even better. I don't find the guy scary. There is worse. So now they have the kid in the chopper. It's a question of what do we do now with the kid? After injecting the kid with whatsoever, they may just take a truck that transport oil or petrol from South Africa to another country. They cut off the tank of that truck. They squeeze the kid in and they weld it back and they put it back into the truck. It smells diesel and whatsoever. And the dogs are not trained to look for humans. They are looking for cocaine and they are looking for drugs. They are looking for guns. They are not looking for a human. The kid is out of the border. To where? To any country where they can actually fly off in an actual airport without any hassles, as long as they have paid. Then they lend the kid wherever Mr. Pedophile wants the kid. Now they bring in psychologists to work the mind of the kid in a sexual state.
That's a professional person, though.
Yes. But the kid has shown any talent of us passing yesterday when I was coming from the office. These two girls, I think probably 12 or so, they were not dancing, they were twerking. You know, when someone dances or twerks, it's just only the backside that's moving. It's moving like it's disconnected from the body. Like you can literally tell Nicki Minaj has done a good job training these kids, and they are doing it better than her.
I get you.
They are 12.
Yeah.
They are 11. To me, when I look at that, I'm looking at a kid. To me, I'm looking at a kid. In my mind, this thing is supposed to be playing netball somewhere. Mm-hmm. This thing is supposed to be doing athletics somewhere. In the flat where I stay, I normally call kids rabbits, mouse, whatsoever, because I'm just the uncle. Everyone, when they see me, like that's just how I see kids, including the 15-year-olds as well. To me, they are just kids, right? That is how I see them. But not Mr. Pedophile. So Mr. Pedophile will ensure they condition the kid in a sexual way. Mr. Pedophile will have their way with the kid when he's tired or when he has other interests somewhere. This goes for both genders, by the way. Let's not make a mistake about it. He start auctioning the kids to his friends, pimping the kid out to his friends. Oh, I saw and so I have a friend of mine who have just flown in France. He want to have a night with the. He pays money, probably $100K in US. Where else are you going to find a child to do those kind of shenanigans with? They know it's hard and impossible to get, so they are willing to pay. So meaning, Mr. Pedophile has had his way, and then he's still going to recover the money that he spent. And when all the friends and the close associates with money have had their ways with the kid, they can discard of the kid and then sell the kid to someone cheaper. I was watching a video on Instagram of somewhere in Thailand, and I saw some African girls at the background in that brothel or whatever it was. My question is, how did they get there? And they seemed very fluent in Thai. Did they grow up there? Did they capture them as kids? What's going on?
Are they young though?
No, they look like actually fully grown women.
Okay.
In like early 20s. But how did they get so fluent in Thai? How did they get there? How long have they been there? With all these injections and drugs going on, how far does the memory of this girl go about who she is and where she came from?
Brother, so you're saying that it's not so difficult for a person to be human trafficked in South Africa?
It's not. We have too many guns in this country. There's a place in Joburg where it's a breeding ground for guns. I'm not even going to call it by name. The other day, when I used to stay there, I had a guy discharging an R5. When the more you get used to guns, when someone fires a rifle, you can tell what rifle it is and probably how far away it is. I have a friend of mine who's very obsessed with guns, and he goes to the shooting range every now and then, and they would be teaching us sometimes about rifles and whatnot. You'd be listening. So the guns are too much in the country. We have too many guns. We have a national goalkeeper that was taken out. We can't solve that case to this day. You have a famous musician that was taken out on CCTV. Boom! Still, that case is not concluded. That case is not concluded. So, me and you, we would be forgotten 5 minutes later when the police finish clearing that up. We are done.
We move forward.
Move forward. I live in Joburg. They shoot people every day. Even if I'm eating ice cream and they shoot someone, if there's no speck of blood in my ice cream, I keep eating my ice cream. We are a traumatized nation. The crime is out of control. And you can't blame the police for it. You blame the police for it if you do not know why the crime is like that. They themselves are in danger.
True.
We have no protection programs. If a cop is investigating a very dangerous case, they take the entire family into a safe place somewhere, and he comes and handles the case until the case is done. If I have a cop that I'm paying inside the police station, and that cop tells me to say, the best guy who's very good with investigation is so-and-so. You shut so-and-so and you shut so-and-so up, the rest of us can take the brown envelope and we can bury this case. And you are a cop and you work there. What does that say about your safety? The people you work with know your wife. They know your kids.
They can easily sell you out.
They can easily sell you out. Other than that, as a journalist, I've sat in court and listened to lawyers humiliating a cop, probably for making a wrong call somewhere about something. And the cop will struggle to answer certain questions because he's not a law expert, but they just know the bare minimum that allows them to do their duties. So if they will be getting in trouble with the law, they are likely to be sold out by their own comrades in arms. What makes you think that you are their priority? Why are we in a country that has so many guns on the streets? Why are our own police officers carrying such big guns? A cop is supposed to carry that donkey piri thing and just point at you and be like, hey chief, I want to see you at the police station at 5. And you find a way of getting to the police station at 5. If you are not at the police station at 5, then they send the military to fetch you, because that means when you are not complying with the law. We don't need cops with guns. When the cops say, I want to see you at this time, you need to ensure that you are there at the time when the cops say they need you there. That is how it should work.
But why is it not working like that?
We have too many guns, and the police themselves are not safe, and the law is not protecting the cops while they are doing their work. So they are working on eggshells on getting in trouble with the law itself while doing their work. They are likely to be sold out by their own comrades. They are likely to be shot by criminals. They are likely to be killed by their own communities. And that puts in danger everyone, their wives and everyone involved. So it's very difficult to be a cop. We have the military. South African military is one of the best in Africa. Do not see them here and would be laughing, Mabena, please disappoint me again, and we laugh about it. And think that South African, before I even go to military, just commit a crime when you do not have money to protect yourself and let the cops look for you and see if you can outrun them. South African cops, when they are looking for you, they are looking for you and they will find you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Unless you have money. We have a Minister of Defense, Koko Enji. I think she was a very good education minister. I don't think she has ever held a slingshot in her life. Not even a gun. No. She's the Minister of Defense. In military, they have issues inside the army itself. There are issues going on among them. The person who is a minister has never been in the army. They are not aware of the issues that the army has. And what rights does the army have to do domestically? Remember, South Africa, it's a safe haven for all criminals that ran away from wherever they came from. They come here. And they can't be extradited, some of them. I don't know how it works, who get extradited and who doesn't. I don't want to make myself a law expert there because I don't really know how it goes, but I just know there are some people that are given a safe passage. Maybe if you are a politician in your country and you want to run to a safe place, South Africa is a safe place for you. You may have been a politician, but how did you become a politician? If you became a politician, you are playing dirty and your country wants you for it, and we are housing you here, and when you get here, the robot is green, meaning you can get away with a few things. What would stop you from going back to your old habits? So we have too many guns, and the military is not protecting us in terms of domestic terrorists. We have terrorism in this country in many ways. Stealing a cable that you are going to be recycling and selling is terrorism to me, because when there's no electricity in that entire section, for those who are breathing with gas and need certain equipment for them to live, that means they will die because you wanted to cut a cable and sell it. That is terrorism. We are supposed to have the army finding such kind of people and dealing with them appropriately. That is terrorism. For the fact that you can enter my house, rape my kids, and steal my things, that is terrorism. I heard Julius Malema one day saying sex work should be regulated. Why don't we have his kids leading the way if sex work is a profession? In Joburg, we see sex workers being killed every day. I am now immune to the cry of a woman, because they cry a lot. Being beaten by their pimps, by their whatsoever, we are used to it. How am I going to be a responsible citizen when I am that immune? These are realities. So how far can the cops go with the problems they are dealing with in terms of the domestic terrorists? Because I think at the rate where we are, we would have needed a military defense minister that's going to come in and say, we are putting the country in a state of emergency. From now, I am the president. Mr. President, can you please take a 6 months leave? We will resume your term after 6 months. But can we fix a few things for you to run a normal society? And then the Minister of Defense announces on the news and say, if you have ever been involved in corruption, step forward. It's a grace period for you to declare it. If you don't declare it now, we are going to be offering rewards on anyone that comes out with information and evidence, and we will be locking people up. We will be taking your house, your cars, your pension, and all your offshores. If we come to you and we find you, step forward and declare every corruption you have been involved in. They bring the military into the police stations. Take the cops for a little vacation. If you're a police officer, you have taken a bribe, step forward. If you're a police officer, you have done anything illegal, step forward. We just need to start correcting a few of those things. Corruption is out of control. The crime is out of control.
Where are we heading?
Good question. Then you will hear politicians saying, white privilege, blah, 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 blah. White people work hard. I've worked with a few of them, and we could work until 2 a.m. in the morning, and at 6 a.m. we are back at work. They work very hard for what they have. If you've ever read the book Animal Farm, you will begin to see all the characters. You will see the sheep who are told that white monopoly capital, that, and we group all the white people in one blanket. Not all the white people are rich. White people is only a group of a few families that controls everything. The rest of them are struggling like me and you. The rest of them are poor. They may be driving nice cars and living in the suburbs. That's the best they could do. If he could default in one payment or his job can be finished, it's all done. And they know it. Most of them are struggling. Most of them are struggling. So we are being indoctrinated by certain political parties that white people are bad for us and that. And their white people themselves are being lied to. There's a notion that says black people are going to start war, black people are going to kill you, and they are busy digging bunkers and whatnots. No black person is coming to kill you. In fact, we are not even interested in any of the things you do. The worst thing we can do, we can take your white kid and make him a piano DJ. That's the worst thing we can do to you. Excuse me. We get stuck in traffic with you. We suffer load shedding with you. In fact, we get yelled on by bosses together. We do the same thing. We bleed the same blood. Why would we have a problem with white people? We got no problem with white people. And white people are not our enemies. If the enemy was the skin color, why do we have so many rich people, so many rich black people that have gotten rich through corruption? And why do we have so many rich white people that got rich through corruption?
Who's the enemy? Is it the colonizer?
Like, again, you're going to get me killed. The enemy is not white people.
Yeah.
The enemy is not foreigners.
Is it the system?
You asked me a question that I dodged earlier, and then now the question is coming back. The very same people who decide who becomes the president, the reporting structure above the presidency, who decides who become a president, who decide whom does the media sing praises about, and you have him on a presidential seat or have him on a presidential seat, that's your enemy, because they control everything. When they tell you that you are sick, believe it, that you are sick. If you step outside this house, you will die.
Quick one. That statement at the end. You used to be a journalist, right? Was it necessary for us not to go out during COVID?
Can I just say this? If you cause fear, people accept unacceptable things.
Okay.
Can I just leave it there?
Yeah, that's you. I got my answer.
Okay, cool. So, if there's fear, people accept things that they're not supposed to accept. I just think also certain things that we have undermined as Africans, we have undermined the power of certain things that we have as South Africans. For example, Mhlonyana helped some people who were struggling. Certain things we are not in New York City. You can just walk and find a guava tree and you fetch the leaves and you boil them and they give you some sort of that kind of knowledge and those kind of medications are the ones that are heavily criticized. But why are they criticized? Because we have access to, anyone has access to it in general. So Big Pharma won't be making their money. If you were to see the demands that a certain company that creates vaccines had to the government of Argentina during COVID, What does Big Pharma want with a military base? Why do you want a military base as collateral?
Bro, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying?
I wish we had a laptop now, and we Google the terms and conditions that company X that produced vaccines was demanding to other countries to access vaccines. Okay, we can give you vaccines, but we want this, we want that, we want that in exchange for vaccines.
Because we know you can't afford to pay it, so let's find a way to exchange stuff.
Basically. And also Cyril Ramaphosa said it, to say he noticed how African countries were belittled on the race for vaccines. I think, I have some respect to a certain degree for Cyril. That vaccine thing could have exploded in many different ways, in worst cases beyond comprehension than we could ever imagine. We saw presidents of some African states who stepped up and said, my people, take the vaccine out of your own. It won't be enforced. There was one video I had. I don't know which president. I think it was a president of Zambia or Tanzania. I don't remember the country. Who ended up dying, by the way, because of COVID. After he refused for his people to be forced to take the vaccine. He said it's an option. You can take it if you want. So as much as we have everything going on and the South Africans are blaming the foreigners and South African politicians blame the white people and the white people start looking for reasons to defend themselves against the black people, it's just groups of people fighting the wrong enemy and who can finish each other over nothing. Because also when you're talking about foreigners, I can give you 10 foreigners now that I know who came to South Africa with a capital of 10 million, 20 million rands to invest in the economy of South Africa. They've hired South Africans. They are doing well. One of them is even a Nigerian guy. He's a Nigerian guy that is struggling to do business because everywhere he goes, he first has to answer for the crime of being a Nigerian first before he could do anything. Even though he's a good man, because of the narrative, how it is perpetuated by certain politicians to say foreigners are that, white people are that, and within the white people they are telling them South African black people are that.
It takes us back to mainstream media, basically.
Yes, it takes us back to mainstream media of how the narrative is pushed.
Yeah.
About they just do not want the whole country to function. They don't want the country to function.
What's the mandate? Is it black people not to come together and work for a common goal?
South Africa is, in my opinion, is a failed experiment by the West.
Okay.
I don't think the Westerns ever dreamt that white South Africans would blend in with black South Africans. So now you have a nation that have white kids that are friends with black kids. If you watch the sports war cries, you will see the unity I'm talking about. You will see the unity in madness. Now you have white dancers of amapiano. You have white people who dance isiZulu. Aboshobale Mbuzi is a white guy whom I don't even think he can speak English, by the way. He speaks isiZulu one way. I don't think he can speak Afrikaans nor English. I don't know if he can speak the languages. But we know him as a Zulu guy. They have blended in the South African economy. They eat pap with the black people. They play with the black people. They live with the black people. They attend the same music carnivals with the black people. They worship alongside the black people. And they are brothers. Excuse me. They are brothers who live in a beautiful country like ours with nice weather like ours, and they are doing pretty fine. The whole thing of coming together might not be perfect. But it is a template that is not wanted anywhere in the world, because a black man should always look like this, and a white person should always look like this. Like it is enforced to be like that. So now when you start having a country where there is a white kid that can whistle at a black kid and can speak Tsotsital, and I had a friend who left South Africa in 1994 with their family, and then they came back. And I was asking the old man, why did you guys come back? He just said to me, my child is obsessed with Kwaito. There was no Kwaito in Europe.
Wow.
It was in SA.
Yeah.
And the car drifting that you guys do with your BMWs, we couldn't have a lot of it in Europe. It is done here. It is done Kokasi, Kota.
Yeah.
My child
South
is
African
white.
culture,
Yes,
basically.
my child is white, but that is what makes sense to him. That's what speaks to him. He's dating black women. And black women don't have a problem with a white kid. I coached a netball team at some point. We had a white girl. We called her Mlungu. I don't even recall her real name. She was just Mlungu, and she was one of our best centers. So the skin color is not a problem to those with brains, but to the ones without brains, it is a problem. Same, because immediately you have a brain. When your brain is big enough to understand that not all foreigners are bad people, that not all white people are bad people, then now you have a developed brain. We have foreigners that came to South Africa for criminal activities. We have foreigners that came into South Africa to study. We have foreigners that came into South Africa to invest. We have foreigners that come to South Africa to work. If you go to Tembisa Hospital, they have delivered a lot of babies in labor. Foreigners. So now when it is just easy for a politician to say, Mabahambe, because they want you to vote for them. They themselves don't believe what they are saying. Foreigners are not a problem in SA because South Africa has laws. In the words of former President Thabo Mbeki, foreigners are not a problem in this country. This country has laws that can just be enforced to control certain behaviors and certain habits. And if those laws are enforced, done.
Brother man, I've got so many questions for you, but I think let's end it here. I would love for you to come back for a part 2 so that we can discuss so many things. I will try not to ask you questions that are
that are gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah, I hope I'm gonna try to, because I've got so many questions, but I feel like, I always need to make sure that you are safe, because you know the underworld. That we
but I'm a businessman now. They know I'm not threat.
Yeah.
I'm now a businessman. Now I'm a very boring guy. Now I just focus on marketing other people's businesses, making sure they get. I'm a very boring guy. I am no threat. I'm just sharing something from the past life.
Yeah.
Chill out. We cool.
Have you written any books as yet? Can you please write a book?
I have a few in my laptop.
Oh, is it?
I've been hesitating to have printed out for quite a while. I have a few in my laptop.
I hope you're gonna drop some. I'm hoping that you're gonna drop. I'm just gonna give you, just a little bit of, because you kept on saying this statement: South Africa is a failed experiment of the Western culture. That is, I think that's one book that's.
That will sell.
Yeah.
No, they never thought we can integrate and live well together. Let me give you a music idea.
Thank you.
Get an Indian kid to play your guitar. To play your lead guitar. Get an Indian kid to play your bass guitar.
Yeah.
And get a Zulu guy to play your acoustic guitar, and get a Zulu guy and get a black South African guy on your keyboard. And then on your saxophone, get a colored guy to do that for you.
That is crazy.
And have one of these African girls to be your lead singer.
Yeah.
And then have a few white people on your backup, the vocals, and bring in a lot of, you'd see. But anyway.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man, for coming through. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Sure.